Hi everyone and welcome to today's Chinese pod lesson. I'm Joe.
Hi, 大家好，欢迎来到中文播客，我是庆林。
In this lesson we will talk about sitting. What does the verb to sit mean in Chinese?
坐
But of course we'll talk about more than only that because this word comes with a lot of context in Chinese culture and language. So where would you maybe use this?
Joe, 来我家坐坐。
Okay, if you take this question as face value, you may ask, wait, do you have a new sofa that you want me to test sit on?
没有，我想和你聊天，喝茶。
So it's not about sitting only, but about maybe drinking a tea and having a nice talk together. And that's what we're going to talk about today. So let's check out who is sitting with whom today.
我还有事，先走了。
不做了。
不做了，不做了。
下次再来坐坐。
我还有事，先走了。
不做了。
不做了，不做了。
下次再来坐坐。
我还有事，先走了。
不做了。
不做了，不做了。
下次再来坐坐。
Before discussing the details of this dialogue, let's break it down line by line.
我还有事儿，先走了。
I still have something to do. I have to go.
我还有事儿，先走了。
I still have something to do. I have to go.
我还有事儿，先走了。不做了，
You can't stay.
不做了，
You can't stay.
不做了，不做了，不做了，
I can't stay.
不做了，不做了，
I can't stay.
不做了，不做了。下次再来坐坐。
Next time, come and visit me again.
下次再来坐坐。
Next time, come and visit me again.
下次再来坐坐。
So here there are two people basically finishing up their conversation. Lynn, what kind of people could that be?
同事、
Maybe colleagues
邻居、
or a neighbor. So it's definitely a guest kind of relationship and it's somebody who's visiting the place here. And this guest is about to leave. And he says, I still have got something to do. I need to go.
我还有事儿，先走了。
Let's look at the first part first. Here we have a combination that indicates that you still have something to do.
有事儿，有事儿。
And this combines out of two characters. And the first one here is to have something.
有
And then the word for a thing.
事儿，
So this together is I have a thing. So I have a thing coming up on my schedule, this kind of thing. And in front of this, where there's another small word, which indicates still.
还
So this together is I still have got something to do.
我还有事儿。
And then after this, there's a very common phrase that you will hear in Chinese very often, which literally translates to I am leaving first.
先走了。
And this is made up of two characters as well. The first one is first, which is 先, and then there's another one for to walk or to leave, which is 走. So this together is leaving first.
先走了
And here in the end, we have a particle.
了。
And this particle indicates a situational change. So what the change here is from like I'm sitting, and then I'm standing up and I'm leaving. So that's why you have this 了 here in the end. And then it becomes I'm leaving.
先走了，
And we can use this 先 and 了 with other verbs as well. So for instance, I could say I'm eating first.
先吃了，
So this would maybe fit when you are fed up of waiting for somebody and you're really getting hungry and you're just, I'm eating first.
先吃了，
Or if you're tired and you want to go to bed and you talk to your parents or your friend on the phone and you say like, oh, I'm going to bed first.
先睡了，
So we use the structure to say that we're doing something first. And here the guest says, I'm leaving first. And then the woman answers, you're not staying?
不做了，
And then he answers, I'm not staying.
不做了，不做了。
Okay, let's talk about the verbs here or the structures a little bit more. So the word we have is not staying per se, but this is how we translated this. The word we are using here is to sit.
做，做，
And this, as we mentioned before, does not only mean to sit somewhere, but here, of course, it's indicating this like sitting together, talking, having a tea maybe. And this comes from a kind of nice concept in Chinese culture.
中国人觉得客人要坐着。
So the guest in Chinese culture is normally expected to just sit and being served. And whenever he needs something, probably the host would be like, no, I'm coming, you stay sit.
我来，我来，你坐，你坐。
And this here is of course the same because he is about to leave and the woman is, are you not going to stay with me anymore? Because that's the polite question to ask.
不做了，
So here we have in front of our sit, we have 不, which is not. And then after that we have the particle again, the situational change, 了. And in his answer, he uses the very same structure. So how do I know now that one is a question and the other one is a statement?
不做了，不做了，不做了。
Okay, so it's like the end of the question, the 了. Either it's a little bit higher to ask a question or a little bit lower for a statement. And then, are you not staying? Oh, I'm not staying.
不做了，不做了。
And of course, you can use this 不 verb plus 了 structure with other verbs as well. So maybe let's practice this a little bit. Lin, what would you say if you are really fed up with writing homework?
不写了，不写了。
Or if you are at dinner and you're full?
不吃了，不吃了。哦，不要了，不要了。
So those would both be I don't want it. But I noticed you said it twice all the time. Why?
我真的不要了。
We use this repetition in Chinese to emphasize things. So here we had just now, I really don't want to write anymore. And in our dialogue, it could be this emphasis of politeness, this I really have to go. I really have to go.
不做了，不做了。
And you will find this with other things as well, and sometimes even more than only twice. So for instance, if somebody's really thankful, what would he maybe say?
谢谢，谢谢，谢谢。
Okay. Or if somebody's really sorry for something.
对不起，对不起，对不起。
没事，没事. So you will find this very often. After exchanging all this politeness, the woman then asks her guests to come back and pay her a visit next time again.
下次再来坐坐。
So to come back for what? To sit.
坐坐。
And in front of this, we have the word for next time.
下次，下次。
And this is made up of the characters for next, which is 下, and time, 次. And this together, next time.
下次。
After that, there is another word that means again.
再，再。
And this is usually paired up with verbs to say to do something again. So here we have to come again.
再来。
So it's come back next time.
下次再来。
For sit, 坐坐.
下次再来坐坐。
Okay, and this 下次再来, we can find this with other verbs as well. So what you often hear is something like let's go next time, for instance.
下次再去。
So this could be let's go together somewhere next time. Okay, with all this in mind, let's go back to the dialogue again.
我还有事，先走了。
不做了。
不做了，不做了。
下次再来坐坐。
我还有事，先走了。
不做了。
不做了，不做了。
下次再来坐坐。
我还有事，先走了。
不做了。
不做了，不做了。
下次再来坐坐。
In this lesson, we talked about polite exchanges between guests and hosts, and you have learned phrases like I'm leaving first.
先走了，
And we have talked a little bit more about the deeper meaning of to sit in the Chinese culture.
不做了，不做了，
And sit does not only mean sit, it can mean to enjoy a good time together, have a drink and have a chat. And the repetition we talked about reminded me of another situation I had before, because I had a friend once who asked me, Joe, whenever I talk to Chinese clients on the phone, in the end they are like, ha 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 ha. Are they laughing about me?
哦，他是说，好好好，好好好，好，
So this is just many repetitions of how, okay. So he just wants to express like some respect and just say, I got you, I understood you. So if you guys have any questions on today's content, let us know in the comment section below.
下次再来中文播客哦，
See you next time.
拜拜。
拜拜
Now, here's a vocabulary recap.
还
Still,
有事儿
to have something to do,
做，
to sit,
下次
next time,
再。
again.
Introducing Chinese Pod Recap, the app with fast summary lessons. How much time do you have? Join us in the beta program. For more info, go to ChinesePod.com/recap.